points.
You're going to hang me one of these days.
I'm not. What I'm going to do is shift your wire over a bit there, and then you won't get hung.
After this morning, I wouldn't turn that down.
You might get hung, mate.
All right.
All right.
Filling up nicely.
When you're ready, Caitlin, you turn us on and then just count us in. Good afternoon and welcome to High Street on Derby Day. It's the Clearwaters Derby. Queanbeyan City versus Monaro Panthers in the National Premier League. These two sides haven't met in competitive action for about 10 years or more. But today the sun is out, the skies are blue, and we're set for what we hope will be 90 exhilarating minutes of Premier League football. My name's Russ Gibbs, and joining me on top of the shipping container, and a very excited High Street, Ian Worthington. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me here on a glorious supposed winter's afternoon.
And what are you thinking ahead of the game this afternoon? It's great to see so many people around.
It is. I think we are one of Jordan Thurtell left foot goal kicks from the Riverside, or Strider Park as it's called now, and can just see it almost in the distance. But today, as you say, we're at the High Street. The pitch is looking all right. Grass is a little bit long, but I think they preserve it for the season. Like you've said, the crowds are starting to come in Monaro and Queanbeyan colours.
They've actually cut this surface today, and I was walking on it before. It looks immaculate. It was a bit longer earlier in the week. It's still a little long, but it's better than it has been for a long time. If Caitlin swings the camera around, if we're on air, you can see to the right there's a plenty of Monaro Panthers black and green in evidence in their own bleachers and around about. You can see the kids there as well. The under-10s are having a kick around for both teams. They'll be walking the teams out before kick-off today, and they'll be having a half-time entertainment as well. It's fair to say, Ian, that these two teams don't like each other very much on the park. There's a little bit of historical animosity between the two as well, but we're hoping that the clubs have done a good job today, this week leading into this, haven't they? About talking about crowd behaviour and talking about where they can sit in the ground and just making it a real feel for at a Queanbeyan occasion. Well,
it's two towns, two teams in the same town, if I can get it right, and not played each other very often. And there's a lot of excitement and anticipation around the ground today.
Absolutely is. As I mentioned, this is the first NPL meeting between the two sides. They did meet in a pre-season friendly. Monaro defeated Queanbeyan City 2-0. Bracing goals through Stephen Dominici on that day. He will play this afternoon. It's worth talking about the teams in a minute, Ian, we will do. But first of all, for the visiting side, no Robert Kachenko today. He's carrying a bit of a strain, but he is named on the bench. Are you surprised if he is carrying something that he is on the bench?
I'm not surprised. I spoke to him before the game when he arrived, so I know pretty much what's going on.
Not supposed to give the secrets away. You're supposed to just go, well, here's my knowledge.
Yeah. Well, my knowledge is it came from the player who let me know what's going on.
So why don't you tell everybody else? Because I was there as well. So why don't you tell everybody at home?
Oh, I can't give the secrets away that he might or might not be injured ahead of today's game, and they're just holding him back a little bit ahead of another big game coming up soon against Canberra, Croatia.
Yes, I know Robert Kachenko today in the lineup. He will be on the bench, though, amongst a plethora of other talent from Monaro Panthers. Queanbeyan City, well, they've only scored one goal so far this season. They're without an NPL goal for 322 minutes. They've drawn a blank in their last 3 games, having netted in the opening match of the season. Lot this afternoon rests on the shoulders of their Argentinian goal machine, Nico Abbott, who scored 43 times in 53 Premier League games. Admittedly, a lot of those goals came in his first stint in Canberra when he was a bit younger, but his experience today and his ability to take the half chances might be critical.
Won't take it half chances, undoubtedly a top goal scorer, and also he holds up play, he disrupts 2 centre-backs, or 3 centre-backs, extremely well, very capable, experienced player.
At the other end, the striking pair of Stephen Dominici and Daniel Badac. Well, Stephen Dominici scored 181 NPL games. Daniel Badac is poised delicately on 99 NPL goals. He'd love to get up the century this afternoon, wouldn't he?
Ooh, go on then. I'll suggest that he might get it. I reckon he might be on the score sheet today. Yeah.
Many will feel that Monaro Panthers will be the favourites, of course. They're second in the table, 4 wins from 4, 19 goals for, 3 against, plus 16 points. Queanbeyan City rooted to the bottom, no wins in 4, 1 goal for, 12 against, minus 11. But they do have 2 points from 2 draws at this venue this season. This has been a happy hunting ground for them in that respect, Ian, and you've been around long enough to know that you've got to get results at home, haven't you, if you're going to give yourself an opportunity? Well,
that's where you build your platform from, really, from a game. You should know the pitch that you play on, you know, the dimensions, you know what the area, the environment brings. Certainly a little bit different today, where there's going to be a lot more people here. But you know, you stamp your authority at home and then try and do what you can away from home.
As I mentioned, you played in derbies overseas as well. What is it about Derby Day that makes it so special? And what is it about today that, ridiculously, form does go out the window on these occasions?
Well, quite possibly it comes from when you enter the ground. Often that vibe and that energy around the ground, the excitement in the dressing room, that little buzz that you get just before you come out and play any game. But there's always just that little extra edge when you're playing people, you know, and teams who are so close to you. And it should always mean something playing games of football, but maybe it means a little bit more in those derby games.
Well, take your pick of your derby matches around the world. This one is going to be quite special. And I'll give you a reason why we're calling it the Clear Waters Derby. The city name of Queanbeyan is the anglicised version of the Aboriginal term Queanbeyan, which is what the Aboriginal people called Queanbeyan, and that it translates as clear waters. So therefore we are calling this the Clear Waters Derby, and hopefully over time that will pick up. And this might be the first of many. The 2 coaches greeting each other to our left. You won't be able to see it off camera, but a warm handshake and a hug for Paul McCaw and Goran Jozefovski, the respective coaches waiting for this afternoon. So you can probably see it on couch now, arms around each other. Happier hunting ground for these 2. Looking forward to a big occasion. Let's have a look at the sides, Ian, then, starting with Queanbeyan City, who we expect to go with a 4-1-4-1 formation to stifle that Panthers' creative midfield. Nick Middleton will start in goal for the 5th time this season. The back four is Jack Leverett at right back, although you did mention he was struggling a little bit when you saw him earlier. Gabriel Ayul at left back. They've been the in situ pair for the whole of the season so far. Christian Tokic and Nahul Guerrero will play central defence. Guerrero having scored the goal that sent Queanbeyan to the Cup semi-finals in the week. Marko Savkovic will patrol in front of that back four, a holding midfielder of some repute. Then there's a line of 4 in front of him. Thomas Blazewski on the right, Noah van der Poel on the left, Daniel Roberts and Takuya Miyabayashi in the middle. That leaves Nico Abba as the sole striker. On the bench, Mishko Nomoski, who brought up his 300th NPL game last week. Samuel Abba, who saw himself sent off a couple of weeks ago, but brings pace and power when he comes on. Johnny Haidu, a bag of tricks. Michael Gallich, the youngster, and Charlie Ray, who's been pretty impressive in the games we've seen. 4-1-4-1, you expecting to see it that line up that way? Yeah, probably will, actually. And it's all about Monaro then being able to break that first line in midfield to get beyond, and the holding midfield player for Queanbeyan being under a bit of pressure. However, if Queanbeyan City can get on the front foot with that midfield 4, it should pin Monaro back in theory. Speaking of Monaro, having played 3-5-2 the whole season, has Paul McCaw thrown one to the tactical wins here this afternoon with a switch to a 4-3-3, potentially, looking at the players he's got on the team sheet. Heath Illich will continue in goal, as he has done for the whole of this season. We think Max Melik will play right back and Jack Elwood will play left back, which means Dylan Deep-Jones, who's been recalled to partner Adam Di Franceschi, will form the centre-back pairings. Now, this is where it gets interesting. 3 in midfield might be Ryan Straub, Fernando and Luca McCaw, which would leave the 3 up top being Michael Piccolo, potentially as a false 9, Stephen Dominici and Daniel Barach playing off him. It's an intriguing lineup. The bench, Zach McLaren, Ben Bassasilk, Giuseppe Tyne, Robert Kachenko and Vanna McAllister, the goalkeepers. Very strong bench for the Panthers as well. But what about that lineup, Ian? And what are you expecting it to look like on the actual field of play? Yeah, well, working backwards, the bench is incredibly strong.
strong with some quality on it. We've said that all season. Then you look at that 3 that you're talking about. Well, it also might be a rotation. It might be a rotational 3. Piccolo happy to get ahead of the other 2. Dominici happy to drop in and also get on the shoulder. And, well, Barach, well, talk about rotation. He can play anywhere and plays anywhere very, very well.
And were you thinking that midfield 3 will be the midfield 3, McCaw, Straub and Fernando? I mean, Fernando could play anywhere as well. I mean, you might see one of the fullbacks pushing on in that respect. Maybe Jack Elwood might play out there and Fernando will go to fullback. You just don't know what they're going to come up with.
Well, they might narrow off on a pitch like this and just allow, Jack Elwood and Max Mellick down either side to get forward. I've known Jack Elwood for a long, long time, and I'm delighted that he's in a first-team starting lineup today back at Monaro. So that's great news for him. But certainly, look, he grew up playing as a left-sided midfield player, left winger, so he can definitely get forward with pace.
Well, we will find out in a few moments, won't we? First thing I'll task you to do, Ian, in your analysis role, is to have a look at the Monaro setup when they get out there and see what they are lining up with. Our match referee this afternoon is Ricardo Alberto. Saren Teatrogul and Kiri Racinovski are the assistants. The substitutes making their way across to the bench, bathed in glorious sunshine. They'll need the hats and the sunscreen on over there. Here come the 2 teams. Queanbeyan City all in their red, their traditional colours. Panthers in the change, the pink and white, with the white shorts and the white socks. Accompanied, as I mentioned, by the relevant and respective under-10 teams from either side. Great day for those youngsters as well, one for them to remember. And there is a sense of anticipation, Ian, and a buzz around the ground. The crowd are all on this side, of course. You can't be on the other side, but there's a fair few in. The bleachers to our right are full. Monaro Panthers have occupied one and brought their own marquee as well to get under. They're out in their numbers. They've made the short hop across the way. And it is in a sense of occasion. And whilst the team's done up, I'm going to throw you under the bus and say who's winning and why.
I think Monaro are winning 3-1, and because the second and Queanbeyan aren't.
It's a fair point. In their 5 matches this season, the Panthers have scored 26 goals and conceded only 3, keeping 3 clean sheets. After conceding just once in the first 2 matches of the season, Queanbeyan have now conceded 11 times in their last 2 National Premier League games. They were battered and bruised at Deakin Stadium by 5-0, and it got worse for them at O'Connor last week as the Knights found their groove and won by 6-0. This the only NPL match this afternoon, the other 3 all tomorrow, having seen Croatia and Tigers switch their fixture due to a rugby league match being played up in the north side, where 1 meets 2 in the NRL, one of them being the Canberra Raiders. Parking was at a premium, unless you were in and turned up when you did, and you got a A1 parking spot, didn't you, because someone left?
Got it right outside the main entrance. It was nothing to do with someone leaving. That was reserved for me for quite a while.
Yeah, it
definitely knew it was coming, so yeah.
Hence the phone call when you're calling to me going, where's the parking?
Where's the VIP parking spot that they've got for me?
And
that's
KFC.
What I said. No KFC today, actually, even though it is over the road.
That's on the way home, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, there's also that little kebab hut across the way, which is belting.
Well, we're a little bit later than normal, again. But it will be Stephen Dominici. And it does look, interestingly enough, that Fernando is at fullback and Jack Elwood is wide on the left, as we suggested might happen when we were throwing around what could happen.
Well, that's how they're starting, isn't it? And Jack is out here in front of us.
So nail your colours to the mast. Which side of the Queanbeyan divide do you sit on? The Panthers from Strider Park, Queanbeyan City from right here at High Street. Neither side wants to lose the derby. Neither side wants to go home disappointed. More than just points at stake on Derby Day across the border here in New South Wales. How do Queanbeyan City approach this one? Ian, is it? They're coming up against a side, as I mentioned, who've been smack bang in form, scoring goal after goal after goal in the league. What do Queanbeyan City do in the first 15 to 20 minutes?
Well, I think it already looks like it. They're just going to sit in. There's a mid-block at the moment. Abbott just, you know, showing into wide areas. Tommy playing on the right. Still only a young player. Played 16s at National Youth Championships last year. So a player with a huge amount of potential. They might look at him on the counter-attack. But certainly for now, they just might sit that deep block in a little bit.
We can tell you that Elwood looks like he's playing further forward than anyone at the moment as one of the front three, and Piccolo's dropped into midfield alongside Luca McCall. Ryan Strawber's the bottom of the triangle. As you mentioned, though, the ability to be fluid. Fernando, Adam Di Franceschi. Di Franceschi again, looking for Elwood. Leverett with a header. Savkovic has a really important role to play this afternoon, Marko Savkovic. Blazewski. There's Miyabayashi. One back by Elwood. Straub. We're going to clip one over the top for Dominici. First chance for him to have a go at Christian Tokic. He stands strong.
Due to the length of the grass, you can tell when the ball's bouncing, it's seeping into it, isn't it, as the ball? There's not really a great deal of bounce. That will hold up with those balls over the top.
First set piece of the afternoon goes the Panthers' way. Di Franceschi and Deep Jones will make their way into the penalty area. Fernando will pop over here to take it on this near side. Amongst in front of the changing room and the canteen area. Fernando to loft it towards the far post over the head of everyone. Ayul met it and will go again. No one really attacked that with any sort of menace.
Got caught in the wind a bit with Ayul getting his body in the wrong direction.
Fernando again to the near post this time. Leverett with the header away. Recycled for Fernando. Unlike him, that wasn't a very good delivery and a first touch for Nick Middleton. He's happy to give it to Guerrero. As I mentioned, scored the goal that put them in the semi-finals. Queanbeyan City will play Tigers in the Australia Cup qualifying semi-finals at South Jerrabomberra, Tuesday, May 20th, I think it is. 6:30 kickoff. The second semi-final the night later at Canberra 2, Tuggeranong United versus Canberra, Croatia. Panthers, of course, unceremoniously dumped from the competition by Croatia. The 4-0 scoreline perhaps not reflective of the game as a whole, Ian.
Not reflective of the two teams who were playing. I thought Canberra, Croatia were great on the evening, to be honest with you, but...
early run for Elwood, and it held up for him.
But yeah, they conceded a very early goal, Monaro, didn't they? And it was all uphill from there.
Well, after they went 1-0 down, after 30-odd seconds, Dominici forced a fine save from Sam Brown. Piccolo should have done better, perhaps, when he was in. Ryan Keir headed against his own post. Monaro had their moments and then conceded 6 minutes before half-time to a fairly straightforward Ryan Keir header from a Thomas James free kick. And then, of course, you come out for the second half, Ian, and you concede within 4 minutes, which gives you an uphill task, and from then on in, they never looked like getting back in it, did they?
Well, you never want to concede a goal, but conceding either side of half-time was what killed the game.
Guerrero comes across to nick it off the toes of Luca McCall. Daniel Barrett patrolling down that right side to start the match. Max Malik back for Deep Jones. Dominici. He's been really sharp this season, Stephen Dominici. Playing with a smile on his face, I said to him when I saw him in the tunnel before the cup tie. Less of a smile afterwards, of course, but he looks fit and sharp, doesn't he?
He's often got a smile on his face, Steve. He's a great character, but he looks like he's gained another half a yard this season. Is that sharpness has been refound from perhaps not having it last year?
Blazewski putting the pressure on. Fernando back to Ilic. Di Franceschi, here comes Blazewski, he's quick. That's good feet from Di Franceschi. McCaw taken over and brought down by Miyabayashi. Got to be wary at the back of the pace of Thomas Blazewski out wide here. He's rapid when he gets going. Piccolo. Looks like he's been given a roving brief at the moment. Straub. Melik. Rides the first challenge. Come back for more. Van der Poel. Savkovic. Roberts can't get there. Guerrero's lofted ball for Ayul.
I think you look at Piccolo's movement. When Monaro get in possession, he's trying to get in between the lines, isn't he? And happy to be that connection between the front three.
Christian Tokic. Daniel Roberts. Happy to play it around. Guerrero under pressure. So Jack Leverett, you mentioned to me off air, was not 110% today, was he?
I don't know whether the physio's managed to get that knot out, and he says he's not pulled anything. It was just a little something he's woke up with, and sometimes when you get moving, and you get a physio just to get a bit of an elbow in there, then it'll sort it out. It might release whatever the issue was. So, it might be something in nothing, and you can play through games like that. I think sometimes, speak to this with the juniors as well. I mean, how hurt are you? Can you get through those painful aspects in the game that might be a knock or a little bit of pain? What can you do to play through it? Are you tough enough mentally?
There's the first yellow card of the afternoon. It goes to Guerrero for his foul on Daniel Barac. 8 minutes that's taken in.
Well, he's just had a nibble about 3 minutes ago, didn't he? And I think he had a quick word to him then. And then he's just gone in the second one. And, all right, you tell your centre-backs, don't you? Just hit him on the halfway line. You should be safe with that. But so soon after he made his first challenge, it's still in the referee's mind. And as a centre-back, you probably don't need to pick up a yellow after 8 minutes.
I'll be on the tightrope for the rest of the afternoon. First set-piece opportunity from deep. From Dylan Deep Jones. I'm happy to go backwards for Di Franceschi. Well, that's a heavy touch. So's that. And he's given it straight to Roberts and somehow got it back. Illegally so, says Ricardo Alberto.
I feel a bit sorry for Adam Di Franceschi there. He's just bombarded his way through. Not sure whether it was a foul or not.
Created two 50-50s for himself.
He loves a 50-50 though, doesn't he? He's probably done it on purpose.
Just to get stuck
just
in.
To get one in and two in.
Savkovic.
Not really a foul though.
Switch of play out towards that far side, towards Van der Poel. Deep Jones away. Savkovic. Rather pings it out here to Leverett. Blazewski down the line. First test for Elwood. And it will be a Queanbeyan City corner kick, and their opportunity to get some players forward.
Good quick counter-attack, wasn't it? Great first touch from Jack Elwood to open up that passing lane. And Blazewski sets off as I know he can do.
Nico Abbott tasked with the corner kick. Christian Tokic, the obvious target. Dylan Deep Jones is his marker. Guerrero's come forward too. Ayul's in there as well. Flat delivery, not his best one from Abbott. Wants to go quick with the throw to Roberts. Abbott. Almost played it to himself. McCaw. Hunting in packs now, Queanbeyan City. Very good press.
Yeah, excellent. Done with good intensity, wasn't it? Good acceleration.
And probably in the right parts of the field where they want it. Dominici, first chance for him. And he's gone for a Mason Mount from halfway. Not with quite the accuracy of the Manchester United England midfielder, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm glad it needed a description, because I don't think most people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, everyone saw it, mate. It was one of the greatest goals ever scored in the history of football.
Was that the Thursday night cup they're playing?
In one, yeah, that Bolton were in once.
We were.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Bolton are rubbish, though, so what does that say about United?
They're also rubbish. But they're rubbish enough to get to the final.
Yeah, they are.
A bit like Spurs.
Yeah. Also rubbish.
Exactly.
They did well against Bobo
proven.
Blimpt or whatever they were called.
Frodo Baggins. Fair to say, though, that shot from Dominici wasn't one of his best, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it'd be up there with his worst.
Daniel Barach might have been the better option. Anyway, here's McCaw. Dominici allowed to turn. McCaw picked up his way past Miyabiashi, but no one else. Melik. One for McCaw to chase. Panthers having the lion's share of possession, but not really testing Nick Middleton at the moment. 11 minutes gone, 0-0. I think Goran Jozovski will be reasonably pleased with his side start. Unfortunately for the Queanbeyan City, 19 of the 26 goals scored by the Panthers this season have been netted in the second half. It's a challenge that might bring out a card.
Shouldn't.
Brings out a chat, that's it.
Yeah.
Queanbeyan have shipped 7 first-half goals in their last 2 matches. 4 against Croatia, 3 against the Knights. So shutting up that statistic is probably one of their first things to do. But do you think Goran Jozovski will be reasonably pleased with the start?
Well, they've not seen a great deal of the ball, and they have, looking to get on the counter-attack. But there's no surprise, and there's no, that's not a bad decision to make either.
There's a card coming out here for somebody, and it's Daniel Barach. It must be for the foul. It
is, and he's just spoke to the linesman about it over the far side, and he's come back with a yellow. He seemed to hurt the left back over the far side there, so it's a good way from us. Without sounding like Arsene Wenger, I didn't really see it.
Well, no, me neither. Gabriel Ayul, the victim. I'm not sure Ricardo Alberto was going to card him until he spoke to his assistant, who had a much better view than anybody else. And that's 1 yellow card apiece early on. Guerrero forward, Deep Jones. Helped on by Piccolo. Melik. Deep Jones. Di Franceschi. Fernando. There's a bigger picture here for the Panthers as well, Ian. In that Croatia play Tigers tomorrow. Tigers side that have recovered some form. Canberra, Croatia, top of the table. Tigers third. There's a possibility that they could give themselves a 3-point cushion at the top after tonight.
Yeah, with a game to go tomorrow, though, so, that's certainly going to be a great game to watch tomorrow afternoon as well. Two teams with 2 very, very good sets of players in Tigers and Canberra, Croatia.
Usually give us a contest. But psychologically, if they can get a win today, the Panthers, and puts the pressure on Croatia having to get something from that, even at this early stage. You can watch that match on Capital Football YouTube, of course, as you can. The other games tomorrow, Garland United making the trip to Griffith, to Solomad Stadium to take on Ugali. Tuggeranong United at home to O'Connor Knights off the back of a 6-goal win last week. Have they rediscovered their mojo? I'll be at that one with Andy Burnell on air from 2:50. 3 o'clock kickoff. Abbott with the foul on Fernando. No love lost between the two South Americans. Argentina versus Chile, right in front of us there, Ian. Cosmopolitan, multicultural competition we have here in Canberra.
Only in Queanbeyan, eh? South America comes to Queanbeyan.
Di Franceschi for Deep Jones. When they were growing up in their respective countries playing football, would never have dreamed that they would be challenging each other at High Street, would they? Queanbeyan.
I doubt it. They would have known too much about it through their youth. No.
Free kick goes the way here, I think, to the Panthers, which is going to be a really good opportunity for them to test Nick Middleton. Now, yet to be worried unduly, he might be now. Stephen Dominici, the way he's lining it up, thinking about a quick one. City too streetwise to allow him to do that.
It's a good range. It's a good distance for Stephen Dominici, though. The wall's fairly tall.
3 goals in 4 games in the NPL this season for the Monaro Panthers, number 23. It's a tall wall, as you mentioned.
There ain't anybody else near the ball, though. There's only one man who's going to walk up to this one.
It's Dominici for the visitors. For Monaro Panthers into that wall, which stood strong. Second bite at it. Wasn't a bad idea. Quarter of an hour gone. Into the wall, unfortunately, for the Panthers. Here's Jack Leverett for Queanbeyan. Nobody had made the run forward for him. And they're playing quite comfortably through the lines there with McCaw. And he's overhit that. When you've got what is a fairly rigid 4-1-4-1 defensively, Ian, what do you need to do when you go in the other way in order to help get the support from Abbott? Where's it coming from?
Well, it's the counter-attacking runs, isn't it? And I think that's what they've set out to do. You look at when they get on the ball, it's coming from its width. You've got Blazewski out here, and it's about that four in midfield regaining the ball in those central areas and then trying to hit wide areas on the counter-attack. And that's actually what it looks like it's set up to do in front of our eyes now. Can they have that compact mid-block? Can they win the ball? And can they spit it out into wide areas? Get Blazewski attacking from there.
Christian Tokic under pressure from Dominici, who sensed an opportunity. Tokic held him off.
And Tokic doesn't want to dwell on the ball too often with Dominici and others around.
Cannot afford to make a mistake in that kind of area. Jack Leverett signed this season from Tuggeranong United. Roberts.
I must say it surprised me that with the recruitment that Mitch Stevens has done and the players coming in. I know there's a story behind where Jack may or may not have been before.
I'll tell you that in a moment if you like. Ayul into the middle, came off Melek, falls for Van der Poel. Back for Ayul again to sweep it towards the far. Blazewski was coming in. Fernando just eased him out the way. Enough so it's not a foul. Elwood, Dominici, surrounded by red shirts. The Jack Leverett story was that Tuggeranong United wanted to sign him again, and he was happy to go back to them once more. And then he was like, well, I think I'm moving to Queensland, I think it was. And then he was like, well, I'm going to Queensland. That fell through. And when he came back to Tuggeranong, they'd already made all their signings in that position. So Mitch Stevens recommended him to Goran Jozefowski. And that's where he's ended up. And doing a fine job as well. Good footballer, Jack Leverett. I'm sure Mitch would have loved to have kept him and would have done his best. But once you've signed players to replace someone who's left, you've got a duty to those ones, haven't you? Yeah,
I enjoy watching him play, Jack. I think he's a very good young player. I think he's defensively solid, first and foremost. He can play at full-back or centre-back. Reading of the game, knowledge for a young player is extremely good. And actually, I think he's a type of player who can go on to that next level.
Well, he's settled in quite nicely here. For those of you that might be watching from interstate, Queanbeyan City of proud Macedonian heritage. Hence Ian Worthington and myself are getting involved in the kebapi rolls before kick-off. Love a bit of chilli on their kebapi rolls here, don't they?
I had actual chilies on
Actual
mine.
chilies and chili flakes.
Yeah. It was very good as well. Really,
I bypassed
really
the chili flakes, but I might well get some at half-time.
Oh, yeah, have we got time to get another one at half-time?
We definitely do.
Yes.
It's only there, isn't it? It's about 5 minutes away from us. Depends what the queue's like, I guess. Maybe we can get our order in early from Charles Band.
If Frank Casey was here, he doesn't queue. You see, he just gets it delivered to his helicopter, doesn't he?
Uber Eats straight to his helicopter from the canteen. Fernando to chase. Blazewski to put him under pressure. Great to see a really good crowd along the fence line and in the bleachers. It's a lot of families here as well. Come off Leverett, Dominici, Savkovic beaten to it by Straub, who's got Barac in behind here, and Daniel Barac, the angle run is excellent. Ayul holds him up momentarily. Guerrero comes across to help out, and that's good defending by the Queanbeyan City pair.
Great defending by Ayul, wasn't it? Good positioning as that ball came through. And, you know, this is only the start from Ryan Straub. I think he's had an exceptional start to this season. Again, one of the top youngish players in the town, and yeah, he's had an immense start to the season.
Solid start to the game as well. We're still waiting for this one to really flash into life, though. Bit of respect being shown by both teams to each other in the early stages. Savkovic beats Piccolo to the ball. Guerrero goes long. Again, looking to target behind Fernando, who covers well. And Heath Illich will be able to clear. Only to Roberts, though. City growing into this a little.
Yeah, they are, and if Roberts can keep getting on the ball, then he's going to make things happen. I remember watching him at O'Connor last year, and especially the year before, I think, and he was brilliant in that midfield there, and when they had that winning year. And Queanbeyan City have done very well to get him this season.
It's been the story of his career, Daniel Roberts. He's played 119 NPL games, was at Tigers as well. Flew under the radar a bit. He plays that position where it doesn't get all the glamour and glory, does it? But a vital cog in the machine.
Just discipline within his shape and in the position is so good. And he gets on the ball, he always finds as though he's got plenty of time because his movement off the ball initially is good.
Just easy to straw off it there, Roberts. It's his first start of the season, Daniel Roberts, today. One substitute appearance before this afternoon's match. Free kick has been given to Queanbeyan City, I think, here. Miyabayashi wanted the advantage, but I think Ricardo Alberto blown the whistle and apologised.
Yeah, and he's turned it around and he's given Queanbeyan City a free kick. You know what? The best thing would have been if he just let the game carry on.
Which is why he apologised, I think, to Queanbeyan. It would have sorted itself out for him. Guerrero. Ayul. Savkovic. Here's Roberts. Ooh, loose touch. Does well to win it back. Here's Roberts again. Abbott's dropped deep to get on the football. Here he is again, Nico Abbott. Loves the big occasion. Often the man for the big occasion. You would think at some stage this afternoon he's going to have an opportunity.
You would think so. He usually generates one for himself or just stays patient and those chances come along to him.
Gabriel Ayul is lining up a long throw. 4 targets in the penalty area. It's a flat one in. Dylan Deep Jones stabs at it and it will be a corner. And Christian Tokic will make his way into the penalty area from centre-back. Dominici, the only man back for the Panthers. Looked after by Van der Poel. Abbott from the more favoured side for him. Huge presence of Heath Illich in goal. Flat delivery to the near post. Van der Poel had gone forward in the end. Couldn't quite get enough on it.
Maybe could have done with just letting that come across his body. He runs to the near post. He's almost defended it for Monaro Panthers.
Set pieces seem the best route to goal for Queanbeyan at the moment. McCaw. That's unfortunate. Abbott took a swing at the ball, didn't he? And it wasn't there.
It's a foul.
Yeah.
Only by just misjudging the flight of the ball, nothing else.
And that's a rarity, a misjudged pass from Michael Piccolo. It's not been the fluent, cohesive unit of the Panthers that we've seen in recent weeks. Mind you, most of their goals have come in second half bursts. They put Tuggerong to the sword in 11 minutes over at the Riverside, or Strider Park, as I should say now. Dominici.
It's been a cagey start. Monaro definitely having the lion's share of possession. No breakthrough of yet because, like we spoke about before the game, knowing the pitch that you're playing on, and adapting to that as the home team.
Well, Panthers have a chance for a corner themselves on that far side. Jack Elwood going across to maybe take it left-footed.
There's no doubt that Jack has a decent left foot and his deliveries can be very good.
Can he find the delivery that he wants here, Elwood? Plenty to aim for in Panthers pink and white. Swung into the box. Deep Jones was up. Tokic knocked it away. Helped out by Van der Poel. Melik's ball wide isn't a bad one if Elwood can get there, but Ayul beat him to it. No score in the derby. 27 minutes played. McCaw, Dominici, Barac, Piccolo, Straub, Deep Jones. Hasn't really concerted a set of attacks, has it, Ian? But there is a hint that maybe the Panthers are starting to string something together here.
They've had lengthy possession, haven't they? Ooh.
Di Franceschi. McCaw. Miyabayashi was in there, but McCaw can bring it away. Won back well by Leverett. Now the Queanbeyan City might be able to break. Just the length of the passing not quite full on at the moment. Jack Leverett's throw. Roberts. Lovely header from McCaw to get himself some space. And then he can send Dominici. Middleton decided to come, then went back and then came again. And that was almost up for you.
It came right into us, saved by the marquee, the Queanbeyan City marquee in front of us. But fairly good decision from the goalkeeper in the end. It looked like it was going to hold up short, but it didn't.
Always wonder sometimes when the goalkeeper makes a decision, then second guesses themselves if it's going to prove fatal. It didn't on that occasion.
It's a great little header from Mako, wasn't it, though, to just get beyond the defender and be able to hit that ball.
Here he is again. McCaw finds Fernando. Straub. They're working hard here, Queanbeyan, to avoid any gaps appearing.
It's a good defensive shape so far, isn't it? And they're happy to give Monaro plenty of the ball so long as their shape remains compact.
Deep Jones with the lofted one again. It's too long for the on-rushing Max Melik. And I think its discipline has been very good as well, Ian, from Queanbeyan City, hasn't it? So far in terms of the shape.
Well, it's led from the front with Abbott, isn't it? That, you know, he's not going chasing everywhere. He's happy to drop into midfield and close those central gaps a little bit, and it pushes them all together from there.
Giving it away here, though. Straub, Elwood, crossing opportunity in towards the penalty area. Climbing high was Melik. Harmless in the end for Middleton.
Jack Elwood looks disappointed with that delivery. I don't think it's too bad. If anything, it could have fallen to the back post to Daniel Barac.
Good touch, Ayul. Van der Poel. Piccolo snapping at him, Van der Poel. Unlucky not to win it back. Elwood up against Leverett. Very evenly matched start to this contest. Di Franceschi. Max Melik. Barac hasn't had a sighter yet. Neither's Dominici, and he's not going to get one there. Middleton, Roberts. And nicely played out by Guerrero. Now we'll Guerrero forward again. Calm from Deep Jones. Melik. Piccolo. Pocket of space in which perhaps to work. Dominici. Barac. Content to be patient, the Panthers. Content to wait for the opportunity to present itself, perhaps. Fernando. Committed to winning it and does.
Well, there's no doubt they're going to get chances in this game. Don't have to be desperate to go and seek to get the first goal so early in games like this. It's about being patient and grinding down that midfield that's set up against them. And then in return, Queanbeyan have got to be able to do that as long as they can and try and pick Monaro off on the counter. It's a clear tactic.
Well, Abbott was looking to get Di Franceschi booked there.
Yeah, he was, and instead he could have just hit the diag out to Van der Poel and they would have been in.
Ricardo Alberto was having none of it, and quite rightly so. Di Franceschi was doing nothing wrong.
He wasn't stepping in towards
was
the ball.
walking away from the ball.
He wasn't particularly going quickly, but, you know, he doesn't have to, does he?
Guerrero looking for Ayul, who got there first. And Melik brings him down, and that'll be a free kick in a more than presentable position.
Yeah, and he's got no help, the referee, so he either shows the card or he doesn't, but he's already shown a couple, so, I mean, there's an element of consistency.
Well, they had to look back at the assistant, I think, as well, to get his opinion, but I'm with you on that one. If there's a card that the two he's given already, then that's probably a third.
And I don't know why you can look at the linesman who's 50 yards away when he's like 15 yards away or 20 and going, like, it's my decision. Make a decision for yourself.
Well, better than a corner for Nico Abbott. He can generate real whip and power from this kind of angle. Hithilic setting up his wall. Wouldn't expect to be beaten from here. And won't be. Piccolo away. Ayul just hoiks it back in towards the middle where Deep Jones meets it. Abbott. Got snow on it, that one. Drops over the crossbar, though.
Good game going on in the corner of the stadium here. I think it's about an under-10s. Queanbeyan City and Monaro playing against each other by the looks of it.
Crowded pitch.
It is. Why not? Good that they're both having.
Well, they're going to play each other
together.
They're going to play each other on the pitch at half-time, I understand. Not full length, of course. Small-sided goals for the under-10s, but that'll be an experience for them. More chance of a goal in that at the moment than there has been here.
Yes, with passes like that, yeah.
Queanbeyan City will be more than happy with the way this has gone so far. Might be a highlight, as you mentioned, about knowing the field and home advantage as well. In the two games that have been here this season, Ugali drew 1-1 here. Gagarin United drew 0-0. And this one is 0-0 as well, half an hour in. 34 minutes in now. It's been intriguing, though, hasn't it? It's not as if it's dragged. Loose ball for Leverett.
Yeah, there's a chance here if they break.
Savkovic. Roberts. To clip it into no man's land, unfortunately. Lasko Petrovsky playing ball boy.
Done very well with that, didn't he? Good little leap on him.
Fresh off of playing in the reserves. His first game back for a long time, the Queanbeyan City legend. Weren't sure we were going to see him at all this season, but got some minutes in the mini derby, which ended 2 apiece. Alexander Evans heading home in the 89th minute to earn Queanbeyan a draw. Panthers thought they won it, didn't they? In stoppage time. Only for the goal to be ruled out for offsides.
It was an early call from the linesman. He'd seen something very quickly.
Wasn't a bad game at all. Panthers ended with 10 in that one. Dominici. Now Barac. Will he get there first? Middleton makes sure he doesn't.
Good goalkeeping. Covered his area very well.
Made the effort to get there and got there. Tokic. Lifts it up towards Blazewski. Angle ball was for Leverett, but Elwood comfortably there, and now he's off into no man's land, isn't he? He gives it away to Roberts, who might fancy it here, Daniel Roberts, and he does have a ping. He got a nick on the way through and took all the power off.
Yeah, it slowed the ball right down. Elwood getting an earful off Di Franceschi. Get rid of the ball a little bit quicker.
Interestingly, Fernando put his arm around him out of shot there just to say it's okay.
Yeah, well,
the experience.
I know
of the
Adam Di Franceschi very well, and he would, yeah, he's a top bloke. But yeah, he tells you how he thinks as well, very quickly.
Fernando's words of advice delivered in a slightly different manner to Adam Di Franceschi's. Guerrero. Ayul. Guerrero again. Up towards Abbots, battling with Di Franceschi again. Lovely touch from Van der Poel. Invites Leverett into the attack here. Roberts. Wanted Blazewski to come nearer. Guerrero. Savkovic. And again, up towards Blazewski. Well, one back Piccolo. Abbott tries to find Leverett. There's a lot of half-decent football going on until the final third at the moment. Neither side able to make that critical breakthrough or even create a really promising opening at the moment.
Yeah, they've just not been able to break each other down, really.
Typical derby fare, you might say. But not as spicy as some might have predicted.
Not as yet.
Not yet, no. Plenty of time to go. Savkovic has had as many touches as anybody, as is this man, Guerrero. Middleton, oh, and he's made a complete mess of this. And he's recovered it himself as Luca McCaw was looking to penalise the mistake. And Nick Middleton, the most relieved man in High Street.
Not the first time we've seen that happen today, but he sort of recovered and get his long body across that time.
Almost a gift. Miyabayashi, Ayul, Van der Poel. Now there's a chance at the other end. Looking for the run of Blazewski. It's played behind the striker, though. It's been the story of Queanbeyan's afternoon, getting into reasonable positions and not being able to find the right ball. Turn from Miyabayashi, and that'll be a free kick. Often the midfield battle is the key battleground, Ian, and it is very even at the moment. Come to that in a moment. It's Blazewski. That's probably why it's 0-0.
Well, they're cancelling each other out to a point, aren't they? Which defensively is great, but as yet neither midfielders unlocked the back line of their opponent.
Piccolo, Deep Jones, Straub. Possibly feels like one of those afternoons when the benches might come into play. The X Factor, Fernando, that's some ball, and Melik might be in behind here. Here's Max Melik and Dominici! And the Panthers roar first on Derby Day at High Street. One long ball, one ball in behind, and Stephen Dominici, 5 minutes before the break, gives the visitors the lead.
It was that smart ball from midfield, though, wasn't it? Queanbeyan were caught high, just dropped that ball in between. Goalkeeper couldn't quite get there. It was a lovely ball, decent cross, and just a tap in from Stephen Dominici.
Max Melik marauding from fullback, and Stephen Dominici with his 4th goal of the season is 180 seconds. Wouldn't have many simpler finishes, but this one has huge significance. Not just on Derby Day, but in the league table as well. And that was the moment we were looking forward to open up the two packed defences in, and it was some ball from Fernando.
Well, it just didn't apply that pressure on Fernando, did they, at that point when Queanbeyan City have done it so well in the first half? You can't allow a player of that quality on the ball to just pick out his passes, and that's what he did sublimely well. And yeah, that's what Monaro needed with a lot of possession that they've had. That's how they've broken the back line of Queanbeyan City.
And how about the unselfishness from Melik? You thought he might, having brought it down and got him behind, the opportunity was to finish, wasn't it? Yeah, but he picked the right ball to give Stephen Dominici the 100% certain. It's
the right decision in a game like this, though, isn't it? It's, you know, it's do the right thing at the right time to get your team in front. It's unselfish, but it's quality for Melik.
And Queanbeyan City will be looking at each other and thinking, who was tracking that runner? This season, most of the runners from the Panthers have come from the midfield trio. Today, it's the right-sided fullback. And will that kick Tuckle chasing Panthers into gear? They lead. Deep Jones. Piccolo. Roberts. It's what you want away from home, isn't it? On the derby occasion, score a goal, quieten the crowd a bit.
Well, quieten half the crowd. Certainly got those in the green and black a little bit lively. The drums were going, and down to our right.
Hasn't bothered the kids in front of us. They're pretty excited for their half-time show, aren't they?
Oh, the big game's at half-time, isn't it, with the under-10s?
Well, if the under-23s was the mini derby, what's the under-10 clash at half-time? The mini derby.
Very mini derby.
Fernando get the chance to have a play in front of a big crowd. Will there be another before half-time? Melik off and running again, and he might be in behind again here, Max Melik. And he is, and Dominici, well, takes an air swing. Badac gets the shot away, and it will trickle wide.
Worried the goalkeeper for a second. He had a little scare, a bit of jump, but sailed past the far post.
Well, wonderful forward run from Max Melik again, Ian, and when he got the cut back to Dominici, the only surprise perhaps was that he didn't hit the target with his shot. In fact, he didn't connect with the ball at all.
I think that's how you break down a narrow, compact formation, though, isn't it? You've got to get your fullbacks on high and wide and hit those areas, you know, wide off or beyond their back line. And that's where Monaro are getting a bit of success now.
Deep Jones to send it back. Savkovic with the header. And again, Roberts beaten to it by Fernando, just a bit sharper. McCall. Deep Jones. Piccolo.
Yeah, you can see the pattern. Barac comes inside. Melik gets on his outside. They combine from there.
Right there, as if on cue. Roberts. Van der Poel from Miyabayashi. 90 seconds to half-time. Plus whatever stoppage time Ricardo Alberto will add on. There won't be much. A couple of knocks to Gay Bayul. That was the longest one, wasn't it? When Balac got his yellow card.
Yeah, there could be a couple of minutes for that. He was down for a period of time.
But Heath Illich has been relatively untroubled in that goal so far. Di Franceschi away. Is that Danny McCall with the loose touch over there?
Yeah.
Wasn't his best, was it?
It was a bit shin-knee toe, wasn't it?
It was a little bit. Ayul will try and launch another one as we get towards half-time. Helped on by Tokic. Will come out here for Abbott! Oh, that's a stunner! Nico Abbott raises the roof at High Street with a thumping equaliser. And in the shadows of half-time, we are all square once more.
Well, it's just got off here beneath us and to our left. Great goal. We spoke about Abbott getting chances throughout the game. We knew that he was going to get one, if not many more to come. But, you know, when it comes his way, he hits them and they stay here. 1-1.
Only the second goal of the season for Queanbeyan City. And it's Nico Abbott who's got it again. And if his first here against Ugali was craft and guile, that was pure power. Thumping efforts. And Heath Illich, who's barely touched the football meaningfully, is picking it out of his nets.
The timing of it, though, Russ, the timing of the hit makes it so sweet as it just nestles and, well, hammered into that bottom corner. Illich, no chance.
Left the boot at a rate of knots. 44 NPL goals for Nico Abbott. And the Clearwaters derby is all square. Deep Jones for Fernando into stoppage time at the end of the first 45. McCaw. Just the tonic Queanbeyan City needed. Getting the crowd up off their feet. Onto their feet, I should say. And some of them off their feet.
Well, let's be honest, it's come when Monaro have been breaking Queanbeyan down. You know, they've worked out that pattern. They've been getting in those wide areas. Great combinations on both sides. And they've just been picked off at the other end there. And, you know, that looks like Queanbeyan City's game plan.
Robertson with a challenge. Nice touch from Straub. And here's a chance for McCaw. Dominici comes for Elwood. Piccolo. And that's too much for Fernando. And Ricardo Alberto brings it to a close. The first 45 minutes. And Ian Worthington will go into the changing rooms at 1-1.
Yeah, possession. Base game from Monaro Panthers. Very good patience. Got a great goal from a wide area. But then, talking of patience, it's what Queanbeyan City have done. They've not panicked. They've got the ball into forward areas. And what a strike by Abbott. Sweet as you like.
Stephen Dominici gave the Panthers the lead in the 40th minute. It was a lead they held for less than 5. Nico Abbott rifling home from range from the edge of the box. And at half-time here at High Street on Derby Day in Queanbeyan, it's Queanbeyan City 1, Monaro Panthers 1. Welcome back to High Streets on Derby Day. The Clearwaters Derby at half-time. Queanbeyan City, the hosts, and Monaro Panthers, the visitors, from just over the way. 1-1 at the break. I'm here. My name's Russ Gibbs. I'm here with Ian Withington. Ian, if I don't step on your cord and you can actually hear me. What a game at half-time, the under-10 derby. Raising the roof as well. Plenty of goals in that one. I think the kids enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, there was two going on, wasn't there? And really good to see that you can get Monaro and Queanbeyan City kids just playing against each other with a crowd that we've got today, and you could hear the noise going on. It's really great to see at half-time. Great for the community.
I'll be getting a bit of mind games here from Queanbeyan City. The referees are out. Monaro Panthers are out. No sign of the hosts in red yet.
Went to get my jacket from the car because it's getting a bit cold, and they'd left the window open in the Monaro changing room, so Mako was fairly vocal with how he was describing the end of that first half.
Is that a brand new jacket you've got on there? Because it's quite shiny from where I'm stood.
No, I wore it last year.
Did you look at the gold? You've buffed it up, mate.
At McKellar.
You've got the polish out for the feeler branding or whatever it is.
Don't worry, there is a picture of us at McKellar in this very jacket.
Is there?
With me, you and Frank Keisha.
Oh, well, there you go.
You probably didn't notice me with Frank in it.
No, I couldn't. The light was shining. It wasn't off your jacket.
You're suggesting it might be off Frank's head?
I didn't say that, did I?
I think I just did.
You definitely did. So Panthers are out there. I can't see any changes from them. Queanbeyan City, I'll be surprised if there is any from them as well. Let's have a look at the two benches again, because they'll probably going to have a big part to play later. Mishka Namoski, Samuel Abba, Johnny Haidu, Marko Galic and Charlie Ray. 5 outfield options for Goran Jozefovski. Monaro Panthers, well, Zach McLaren, Ben Basasil, Giuseppe Tyne, Robert Kachenko, Vanna McAllister, the substitute goalkeeper for them. Those benches, interesting set of players. One of them might well have the moment that makes the difference this afternoon. Well,
I said before the game, the strength of Monaro's bench all season, with the quality that they have on it. You know, they'd get in most first teams, wouldn't they? And they're having to wait it out at the moment. But I'm sure they'll have an impact when they come off the bench.
Queanbeyan City have joined us. Their changing room might have been the more jovial at half-time. With having their equalising goal 5 minutes before the break from this man playing keepy-uppies in the middle, the Argentinian super striker, Nico Abbots, scoring again. We mentioned halfway through the half that he'd have a chance in, and he got one, and he took it.
He certainly did with venom, didn't he? He struck it so well into that bottom corner, past the left hand of Heath Illich.
Well, here we go, 45 more minutes of Derby Day drama. Who will come out on top? Or will it be on as even? Early ball forward, sees Fernando get a touch, Piccolo. Fernando, whose pass created the opening for Max Melik to set up Stephen Dominici for the game's opening goal. He loves a marauder forward as well. Guerrero back for Middleton. Had that one nervy moment, didn't he, when he almost gave Luka Makura a simple tap-in, the goalkeeper?
Yeah, rolled it to him, didn't he? He managed to get his get his body down to the ground beforehand.
Miyabiashi trying to find Van der Poel. That's good defending from Max Melik. Now, problem here momentarily for Illich. Blazewski was causing the problem. And we're going to go all the way back for a free kick because there was no advantage from the clearance. Thomas Blazewski doing the chasing. Having not won for 4 games in a row at the tail end of last year, the Panthers on a 5-match unbeaten start in the league. That cup tie, of course, the anomaly. Daniel Badac, meanwhile, has scored four of the 5 games that the Panthers have played this year, 7 in all competitions. He hasn't had a sighter at goal just yet. We've got some defensive work to do. Marko Savkovic, Van der Poel, top of the area. Ryan Straub won it off him. Thumped away by Fernando. 4 Panthers went up into that attack. Queanbeyan, the Japanese import, finds Tokic. Start of the second half, much like the start of the first.
Well, scores are level, aren't they? It's both teams weighing each other out in the early stages. Shape's not changed particularly, and the personnel hasn't.
Guerrero. Dominici bundles him over. Free kick goes the way of Queanbeyan City. Plenty of people in and around. Lots of fans here. Nice to see Sam Farris, see a couple of footballs here as well. Just wave to the boss. She's just checking I'm working.
To see is to believe. You're actually here.
Where else would you rather be on a sunny Saturday afternoon? Over the border in New South Wales is where we are. Long way for you to come in from your home. Savkovic won there. Elwood, Piccolo. Queanbeyan with a stabbed clearance. Blazewski can bundle off the challenge and maybe can get something going here. Abbott. Blazewski again on a rampaging run and still going Blazewski. And he's got Abbott in support. Nico Abbott! Good save. Heath Illich keeps his team in it. Wonderful run from Thomas Blazewski. And Nico Abbott, well, he might have thought he'd had to.
Confident run from Blazewski, wasn't he? He's cutting from the right-hand side. He's kept going. It's opened up to him. And Abbott could have gone near post, really. I think that's what Heath Illich has left for him.
Glorious chance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It opened up.
You have to convert those.
Queanbeyan City on the front foot. Only the agility of Heath Illich keeping them out. And now Abbott's onside here. Flag has stayed down. Back in numbers, Monaro Panthers. That must have been a tight call. Meanwhile, McCaw at the other end. It's suddenly opened up. But Nico Abbott would have been thinking, here's another for me when he got in there.
Yeah, the ball was just coming out the air, wasn't it? So it was difficult to run onto. But very high line from Monaro that Queanbeyan sort of exposed, but didn't really then fall for them.
I think a lot of the ground in that previous one when Blazewski stabbed him in just was up expecting him to score. Doesn't often pass up chances like that, the Argentinian striker.
No, we'll see how well he did in the first half with his chance. You would expect him to convert that, but not on this occasion.
Here's Elwood at the other end, Tokic away. Abbott does well to find Blazewski. Queanbeyan. Elwood's won it back and delivered, but too close to Middleton. Dominici completely unmarked, though, Ian, in the far post, and Barach was there as well. It's opened up a bit. Heath Illich is playing only his 10th first team match. Made a fine save. As much as we were talking about Abbott, perhaps should have scored or done better. That was still a fine stop from the goalkeeper.
Former centre midfield player in his youth and at national youth level. Had a pretty bad meniscus injury which affected his mobility out on the pitch, but his attributes that he has make him a fine goalkeeper, and he's picked up pretty quickly over the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, Paul McCall's seen enough here and is making 2 changes to his team. And he's taken off Daniel Barach. And I think he's taken off Michael Piccolo for Zach McLaren and Giuseppe Tyne here. What do you make of that?
I don't know what to make of it, because Daniel Barach, for one, has such an influence in games of big stature, so I'm interested he's come off, unless he's picked up a bit of an injury. And we know how Piccolo is creative from midfield, but Maybe that's the issue. Maybe he just can't break through in midfield because it's so compact with Queanbeyan's setup. And he just wants a little bit more pace and just more roughness really going through it.
I can't tell you, I was privy to some information in the week that Daniel Balac was struggling a little. There was a moment when they weren't sure he was going to make the starting lineup, so maybe there's been a slight recurrence of that. But an opportunity for Giuseppe Tyne. Here he is, first chance to get in behind. He scored 4 goals this season, 1 in the league, 3 in the cup. Getting stuck in straight away.
Tell you what, it'll fire the game up though, because both Seppi and Zach McLaren play with real high intensity, real pace, good aggression.
Elwood, Straub.
Maybe was it too pretty for Piccolo of the quality that he has? Is it maybe that not that type of game to get through midfield today?
One of those ones that you look at as a neutral looking in, and you don't see what's happened in training during the week. We only see what's happening on match day. Michael Piccolo and Daniel Balac substituted early in the second half. Queanbeyan City have started the better of the two teams in the second half. I wonder if there's a message in there as well from Paul McCall to the rest of the group. Nobody is immune. Deep Jones. Tyne. Deep Jones again. Di Franceschi. We could see where he was going. Jack Elwood had dropped deeper. Di Franceschi thought he had gone.
Just a little bit of disconnect between the two, isn't it? Both have not been playing regular this season.
Blazewski. He's a handful, the teenager, isn't he? Thomas Blazewski.
Yeah, he is. He's having a good game, isn't he? A lot of potential in the young player. Not even sure whether he's 17 yet.
Yeah, not far off, I don't know. Yeah.
Represented ACT really well at the Nationals last year. Had a good tournament there.
Free kick opportunity Fernando will take. To lift it in towards the tall timber up from the back. Was won by Guerrero. Van der Poel. Roberts beaten to it by Melik, who's having a fine match. Dominici, who scored the Panthers' goal. Little flick looking for McLaren. Really important interception from Guerrero. And then Noel Guerrero's been upended by Zach McLaren.
He was waiting for that challenge to come in for about 5 minutes, wasn't he? He looked over his shoulder 3 times, and McLaren just kept his run going. As soon as there's contact, he's gone down.
He's a wily campaigner, the South American centre-back, isn't he?
You're not talking about Zach McLaren with that. Plays very different to a wily South American. It was nothing more than a free kick either, by the way.
That's enabled Queanbeyan City just to slow down whatever momentum Panthers might have been building. Nick Middleton will take this free kick and send it as far away as he can. 11 minutes of the second half gone. Deep Jones should win this above Vayul. Savkovic. Challenge from Tyne. Well, he got the ball, but he went through Savkovic to get it. And he's going to get a yellow card for it. Maybe that was more for the protestations than the actual tackle itself, Ian.
Well, what you get with Seppi is all in. It's a little bit out of control. I'm not sure, to be honest, if it warrants a yellow card.
And Stephen Dominici is just going to get himself one for kicking the ball away, which is a little bit silly as well.
See, that's back to Dominici of old. I thought that had come out of his
I mean, that was right in front of Ricardo.
Yeah.
Right in front of Ricardo Alberto, the referee, who just looked at him and reached for the pocket and said, well, there you go. Silly one from Stephen Dominici.
Yes.
2 yellow cards in quick succession for the Panthers. Daniel Roberts with a free kick. Direct one in. Deep Jones wins it.
Not the first big header he's won in there, Deep Jones, today.
Savkovic was trying something hugely ambitious. Tynes found Dominici. Might have gone the other way, where there was 2 Panthers unmarked.
Getting tearing around, you cannot question Seppi Tyne's effort, can you? His work rate, his intensity is so high.
Wants to be a bit careful now, though. He's got himself a yellow card within a couple of minutes of coming on. Deep Jones had a good game today, justified his recall into the starting 11.
He started the second half like Lothar Matthäus, hasn't he? Look at him, turning players, composed on the ball.
With a beard.
Decent little beard. Matthäus couldn't really grow a beard, I don't think, but yeah, other than that.
Van der Poel, bit short. McCaw just drifts brilliantly away from Roberts and can run at them here. Couldn't find Dominici. Half-hearted shouts for the Panthers that he was caught late. Nothing doing. Do I detect the first undertones of this one bubbling along?
Just a little bit, yeah. Thought that when the substitutions were made, if I'm honest with you.
That bounce will be awkward for Deep Jones.
Oh, God. Cheerleader over the far side. The flag went up and down that quickly.
Thought about it, didn't he, the assistant?
Did more than thought about it. Flag came up and down.
Fernando runs into Marko Savkovic. What's happening here? Flag must have gone up this time.
But yeah, the intensity of the game's certainly been raised.
McLaren, Dominici, Miyabiashi, Tokic, in fact, who's come forward.
Yeah,
wanted off him.
Tokic followed Dominici in then, didn't he? And
the whole way out.
Defended him pretty well. Roberts has been, well, linesman's not saying anything on this near side as Roberts stays in a heap.
Was he caught after the ball? I was looking at the football being played down the line.
Well, it's what the Queanbeyan players are claiming.
We play on. Daniel Roberts, no sympathy from those in the pink and whites. Time will back himself here. He's quick enough to cause problems, and he's got the power to cause problems as well. But Gabe Ayul stuck to the task. Temperature just lifting somewhat inside High Street. You can feel it in the crowd too.
Ever so slightly.
As it drops on the thermometer scale. Not that I need my big jacket just yet. City subs out and warming up. Savkovic away. Melik sends it back towards the danger area. Ryan Straub to swing it towards a far post. Elwood was coming in. Well, if Jack Elwood had headed that in the top corner, we may as well have all gone home.
It ended up being a timid header in the end from Jack Elwood, didn't it? It was a decent delivery.
Smallest man on the pitch.
Yeah, but he was free and just headed back across goal if he could.
Can they find a way through? Swung towards in the penalty area. It's come off Savkovic. Knocked but pushed away again. Zach McLaren will take this corner. A bit of noise from the home fans.
Yeah, trying to get a bit of a bigger atmosphere going.
McLaren in. Deep Jones beaten to it by Middleton. Abbott had a look. There was no one within about 35 metres of him, if not more. Panthers second in the table, unbeaten this season. 4 wins from 4. Quarter of an hour into the second half, being held at the home of the team that started the day bottom of the table. Three teams marooned on 2 points at the moment. Gungahlin United do trouble to Ugali tomorrow, of course, yet to score an NPL goal this season. Their goal drought is 488 minutes of NPL action. They broke this season's drought in the Cup again. But still wait that breakthrough in the league. Di Franceschi, McCaw, Melik. Tyne outside if he wants him. Melik's to go infield. And rather ran into a congested area.
But again, it's that area that Queanbeyan have held so tightly, isn't it, through midfield. There's not very many times so far that it's been broken through, of course the goal being one of them, but other than that it's been very good.
Daniel Roberts is going to make way here as Queanbeyan City go to the bench for the first time this afternoon. He's had a fine game, Daniel Roberts. First start of the season.
It might be a tactical change, it might be his fitness levels. He did just get a whack, didn't he, about 3 or 4 minutes ago?
It's Charlie Ray that's coming on for him. Plays in a similar kind of position, Charlie Ray, the youngster. Di Franceschi, Savkovic. First involvement for Ray. Neat and tidy ball out wide. Leverett hasn't seen much of him as a attacking fullback in this half, but he's gone for goal, and it's dropped in! And Jack Leverett, from right fullback, has seen Queanbeyan City turn this on its head. From 1-0 down, City lead 2-1.
Well, it's a cross shot, isn't it? Jack Leverett, knowing very well, he'd tell you that was a shot, but it never was. Either way, to get it looped over Heath Illich's head from there is pretty remarkable. And the unexpected is happening as Queanbeyan take the lead.
And didn't the home fans enjoy it? Only the second goal of his NPL career. And Jack Leverett in the 63rd minute has put City 2-1 up in the derby. Not many saw this coming. A team that only scored once all season against a defence that only conceded 3 all season. And immediately, Paul McCoy has got Ben Basasilk and Robert Kachenko ready to come.
Well, they were trying to look after Robbie Kachenko, weren't they? With a big game next coming up and a slight injury that he's picked up. But look, he's a top player, and now they're going to have to use him. They're forced to use him.
Elwood into the middle. Panthers lead lasted for 5 minutes at the end of the first half. How long will Queanbeyan's lead last for? Jack Leverett, I was just saying, he hadn't been seen much as a forward operative in the second half. Well, he's popped forward. I'm sure that was across to the far post, but you know, in the derby, you'll claim it.
He won't care, will he? He'll enjoy that one, and looked like he certainly did. Now he's got defensive responsibility to do.
I'll tell you what, everybody in red enjoyed that one, didn't they, around us here?
Yeah, it's quieting down the Monaro supporters down to our right-hand side, but...
Rescue mission required. Ben Basasilk, 2 goals this season from the bench. Robert Kachenko, 2 goals this season as well. They're both coming on. Jack Elwood is going to make way for Kachenko.
Well, that's a straight one. Stephen Dominici is walking towards Ben... Well, past Ben Basasilk. It looks like Ben Basasilk has come onto the pitch, and Robbie Kachenko is still waiting to come on, but yes, it is Stephen Dominici.
The goal scorer.
It's a brave move, isn't it? Replacing Dominici and Barach early-ish in the second half of this game.
Well, they've taken off 281 goals worth of NPL strikes in the career of Dominici and Daniel Barach. It's a brave move from Paul McCourt.
Just don't know what's gone on here. I think down to 10, but it is because the physio's come on, isn't it? So it's a rule that
there's no
he's got to come off. But he's got to be, if the physio comes on, he's got to come off, which is what's happened. Soon back on.
Di Franceschi wins the header. McLaren helps it on. Tokic.
So the change really is Sepitain has gone through the middle.
Brzezski's turned Fernando, and he's been tugged back by the midfielder, who might be lucky to escape sanction here.
I think it was probably a yellow if you're going to call that back for a free kick. Funnily enough, the linesman that time didn't raise his flag, or unless I missed it.
Definitely it's held back by Fernando. Brzezski just rolled him beautifully. And now Nico Abbott's over a free kick, and Queanbeyan City are searching for an unlikely third. Abbott to take. Plenty of runners in. Too close to the keeper this time. And with some effort to lob one over the head of Heath Illich, who's what, 6'4"?
So, yeah, and his wingspan's pretty large as well. So to get it over the top of him,
but the trajectory
was very impressive.
The trajectory for the crossfield ball was just perfect for Jack Leverett, wasn't it? He could hit 100 of them in his career, and only one of them is going in.
I don't understand what you're doing here, Russ. What's going on?
Trying to put a coat on, but well, you know, with a hat, with a folder in my hand. And
it's a beautiful sunny day, blue skies, and you're all rugged up for winter.
Mate, you already got your coat on.
This is just a little bit of a wind, whatever they call it, shield.
You've got to keep the body temperature regulated, mate. Otherwise, you won't be able to do any more games this year. You'll be getting a cold.
This is a beautiful day in Queanbeyan.
For the Clearwaters derby, Queanbeyan City 2, Monaro Panthers 1. We've often said on here, we're not betting men. But if you were, you'd have got good odds on Queanbeyan City to win this today. Still got a long way to go, of course.
I still get my yearly letter from the English FA.
Telling you not to do
Telling it. Not to do it, yeah.
Yep.
Sign this.
Charlie Ray in with the challenge.
I'm rubbish at it anyway. I said this was going to be 3-1 to Monaro. So, I mean, there's no point, really.
Just chuck it. just take a $20 note out of your pocket and burn it.
Just throw it down there to somebody. You have a go.
Guerrero with the crossfield ball, looking for over the head of Melik. Bassa Silk, first real involvement for him. He's got the ability to turn this on its head. He's got a heavily strapped left knee as well. Then Bassa Silk.
Probably happened playing futsal.
You love futsal, don't you?
No, that's why I reckon he's done it. He's one of the best. He's one of the best around.
Don't kick it away, Giuseppe Tyne. You've kicked the ball away, son, and he's going to get sent off here. This is going to be a second yellow card for Giuseppe Tyne, and the Panthers are going down to 10, and that is going to make their task even more difficult.
Well, he's going to have fun walking through there in about a minute's time as well, isn't he? Because they're all gunning for him after that decision he's made.
And such a silly second yellow card to get as well.
He just happens to walk past the vested official, which happens to be his dad.
Silly mistake for Tyne.
And that's double trouble, isn't he? Getting that stare off his dad as well as getting a red card. Anyway, hope he all gets looked after over in that corner.
I'm sure he will. Queanbeyan fans giving him the send-off. The whistle had gone way before, and as soon as he kicked it away, you thought, oh, there's trouble here. Consistency. But what a chance for Queanbeyan City. 2-1 up against 10 men.
Well,
with 20 minutes to play.
Paul Mako was vocal at half-time, coming through the dressing rooms to our left on how he thought they played towards the end of the first half. He's probably going to have a lot more to say at the end of this game if it continues the way it is, because whatever could possibly go wrong has gone wrong so far.
It looked like another afternoon in the sunshine when they were 1-0 up after 40 minutes. Turned on its head. Savkovic lining up something from distance. Oh, fizz past the post. Heath Illich looked far more calm than anybody else in the grounds.
He's hit it that hard. I think he's broke his calf. He's cramping up here.
He certainly has.
So they're currently down to 10 men because he can't get around there.
Heath Illich was the calmest man in the ground. Here's Charlie Ray.
Well, he seemed to have it covered, but I'm not so sure.
Blazewski can't keep it in, and Marko Savkovic might want some treatment here.
But first 30, 35 minutes, you'd suggest that Monaro were in full control, had a hell of a lot of possession, looking after the ball really well, and now it's all turned just into a bit of a panic.
Melik steps in. Ben Bassa Silk gives it away. One back. But Robert Kachenko's come into the middle of the park.
You can't doubt that Monaro still do have the quality to get themselves back in this game. You look at the players and the individuals who are on that pitch, in particular Zach McLaren, Ben Bassa Silk, you know, they know how to dig in and get through games. Ryan Straub is great at it. That never give up attitude, certainly in those three. McLaren will be in the trenches trying to get all his players moving for him.
They desperately need a spark, though, and their two leading scorers are off the pitch. The whistle's gone again. Which way is this one going? Abbott's gone for goal. There's a yellow card here for Di Franceschi, I think that is.
No, he's actually given it against
And he's
Abbott.
given Abbott for kicking it away.
So who's he giving the yellow card to?
Well, I presume it's for Nico Abbott for kicking the ball away. That's not clear. Marko Savkovic is going to get some treatment. But if he's giving a card out, I'm assuming having booked Giuseppe Tyne for kicking the ball away and Stephen Dominici for kicking the ball away, maybe he's done the same. But Abbott thought it was his free kick. He looks a bit bemused. Changes for Queanbeyan City.
He might look bemused, but he's actually done the same thing as what, like you say, the other two players have done. So, I mean, what does he expect when something like that happens?
Samuel Abbott is going to join us. Strong, powerful front runner. Johnny Haidu, bag of tricks he is. Savkovic going off as the first sub. Looks like Noah van der Poel is going to make his way off as well. So Samuel Abbott. And Johnny Haidu. In fact, it's not Van der Poel. It's Nico Abbott who's made way, isn't it? Is Van der Poel on the break?
Yeah, there's a break on here, and this is what Queanbeyan have wanted.
Sam Abbott.
As part of their game plan all day. This quick break.
Yeah, Van der Poel was in support. Ball in towards Abbott. And that's a good stop by Heath Illich. So just to confirm that, Samuel Abbott for Nico Abbott. And Johnny Haidu comes on for Marko Savkovic.
Yeah, Savkovic is just having his calf looked at over on the far side. Now,
you hope that's a cramp and not a tear. Johnny Haidu will take the corner kick for Queanbeyan City.
Well, it occurred after his shot that just went past Illich's post, didn't it? And he very quickly held his calf from there, and the replacement's been made.
Haidu will whip this in towards the far post. Too much for everybody.
Yeah, it plays very narrow, doesn't it, the pitch? So from set pieces, can't really be overhitting your deliveries.
Quarter of an hour between Queanbeyan City and one of the most famous days in their history. They've had a few.
So what, they'll be painting the town red if they get the win out of this one.
Miyabayashi finds Haidu. Can't get past Deep Jones. Abba throws himself into it. Haidu's won it back. Miyabayashi's found Van der Poel. And he's looked to tee up Charlie Ray. Blocked by Ryan Straub. And they're not sitting back on it.
You've just read my mind. You've got to give credit to them. They're carrying on to come forward, aren't they? When they're getting those opportunities in the final third, they're trying to hurt Monaro again.
A reminder that the Panthers came into this match on 12 points, 4 wins from 4, level on points with Canberra, Croatia. Second on the table on goal difference alone. Blazewski. Van der Poel. Free kick goes the way of the Panthers, who've emptied their bench. There's no more options for Paul McCaw. They're playing with 10. Substitute Giuseppe Tyne sent off for a second bookable offence. Fernando playing in midfield now. Miyabayashi. Blazewski will chase. Di Franceschi tidies up and then was caught by Thomas Blazewski. Some edgy players out there at the moment. Most of them wearing pink and white. Sam Abbott putting the pressure on Dylan Deep Jones. That's not a good pass.
They just haven't got that extra man to play into, have they? And if they're hunting in threes like that, there will be spaces for Queanbeyan City to play into, like there.
Tokic for Blazewski. And he can have a run at Di Franceschi. And then overdid it. 2 in support, couldn't find either of them.
And they don't want to put all that defensive hard work and stretch themselves here, Queanbeyan City. They've got to know when to pile forward and get bodies forward, but also have that security behind the ball when it does break out. Otherwise, Monaro would still have an overload going forward despite being a man down.
Straub. Touch from Fernando. McCaw. Kachenko. Runs into Leverett, whose goal's the difference. And the challenge by Jack Leverett. Timed it well. Di Franceschi to nod it away. Time the enemy of Monaro Panthers. 12 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Abba. Well done by Sam Abbott. Di Franceschi, hard-looking clearance. Miyabayashi. Ayul. Van der Poel. Stabbed ball towards Haidu.
Yeah, he's just got to have a bit more quality there. Van der Poel, look after the ball a little bit better in those areas.
Deep Jones can bring it. Fernando. Bassa Silk from Melik. Deep Jones again. Panthers seeking to move it a bit more urgently, a bit quicker. Bassa Silk, Melik. Ayul stands firm. McLaren. Slides it for Melik. In turn finds McCaw. Fernando wanted it. Blazewski back helping out.
Yeah, Blazewski doing the central defensive duties there. He's been pretty much everywhere in this second half. He's been very impressive.
Kachenko for McCaw. And again Kachenko. Can he get the shot away? Robert Kachenko can, and forces the save from Middleton.
Well, that's why they brought him on, isn't it? Because you know he's going to be a threat. You know he's got the quality. You know he's got the ability to be one of the best players on the pitch. So, yeah, good impact from Robert Kachenko.
He will take the corner. Swung in towards Deep Jones, headed away by Haidu. Now the break might be on for Van der Poel.
They would have left the right player back here in Ryan Straub.
They've got
Very
runners.
Smart, quick.
Yeah, runners ahead here, though. One of them's Charlie Ray, who will get there ahead of McCaw, who read the intentions of the youngster, Luca McCaw, and can bring it away. But there's no one in the Panthers shirt ahead of him. McLaren's clean out Miyabayashi. Play on. Advantage for City. Not much of an advantage on that occasion.
No, and there's a few tired legs out there now, isn't there?
A few tired legs up here. Never mind out there.
Speak for yourself. Feeling all right?
Yes, because you've been at you're in your 14th can of Coke.
Don't say all those to my left are mine when I know that they're yours.
Well, one of them's mine.
And the 2 kebabis that you've had as well, which were very good, apparently.
I had a kebabi and a Kransky, my friend.
Did you now?
You went to kebabi. With the chilli on top and everything.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wonderful work from the canteen at Queanbeyan City.
I'm told Tuggeranong United have a special item on their canteen tomorrow.
Right.
I don't know what it is yet. They haven't told me, but they've said, you come on down, because we're there tomorrow, and we'll see what it is.
Do they know what it is?
I don't know.
Maybe they've not decided yet.
It's probably just lots of meat and a bun, my friend.
Well, that's all right.
We will wait and see. Tuggeranong United brought out their membership cards yesterday. You could become a member of that club. You could become a member of Queanbeyan City as well. And Monaro Panthers also have theirs. A wonderful supporters club across the road. They'll be hosting a supporters club across the road next week, couple of weeks' time, I should say. Van der Poel, Haidu, All the sting taken out of it. Next week, Panthers are away at Croatia. Queanbeyan City, well, they're right back here against Tuggeranong United. Oh, lovely feet from Tokic.
He'd be all right if his own play didn't get in the way of him. And great defending from Sam Aber.
And Tokic is going to get a yellow card. And Zach McLaren's not happy with what he left it behind on Ryan Straub. Christian Tokic becomes a third Queanbeyan City player in the referee's notebook. Deep Jones.
Trying to make a change here, Queanbeyan.
Well, they're becoming very anxious, aren't they, Monaro Panthers? Swung in towards Silk, nodded away by Ayul, only as far as Melik. Through one, but not through Miyabiashi. Deep Jones. Melik fouled by Haidu, and now there's another card coming out here. Johnny Haidu's getting one as well.
Oh, there you go. He's pointed at the 4 different areas where he's guessing where there might have been a foul given away. I love it when referees do that. They just randomly point in areas where he might have given a free kick away. And you then get a yellow for persistent fouling by the sounds of it.
Well, Monaro Panthers have a free kick. Queanbeyan City want to make that substitution, but I think wisely they might hold off Goran Jozefovski at the moment. And, well, unwisely then perhaps he's decided to do it. Noah van der Poel's coming off. Miško Nomoski, NPL match number 301 for him. Remarkable career. Last week's match against O'Connor was his 300th. Incredible feat of longevity from Miško Nomoski. I was chatting to him. He thinks his first game was about 2006 for Balconen United as a substitute, as a youngster when he was playing for the Blue Devils.
It's a stunning career. Got to keep himself very fit.
Straub in the middle. He did say he's been very lucky with injuries as well. And you might be able to hear from Miško Nomoski this week. We're trying to tee him up an interview with Win TV to talk about his remarkable career. Work to do here first. Panthers looking to get on terms. One at the near post by Guerrero, and now the break might be on.
2v1.
It's 2v1 is Haidu. He's got Ray with him. Panthers back in numbers. It was Leverett, my apologies, on the break.
Credit
back
for
himself.
4 and then 5 Monaro plays for recovering to get themselves back into that defensive line.
Blazewski back there winning. Miyabiashi, Tokic. It was Jack Leverett on the break. If it had been Johnny Haidu, it might have been a different story. Because
Jack
he's
Leverett's
rapid.
already had his run for the season, hasn't he? He's got his run and his goal, so he's...
Tokic goes long. Won by Fernando. Kachenko lets it bounce. Leverett got there first. Nomoski's first involvement. Queanbeyan City fans singing their songs. 5 minutes between them and Derby Day glory. You could have taken a straw poll of anybody connected with NPL football in Canberra throughout the week, and very few would have predicted a Queanbeyan City win.
Well, maybe the ones to our left and those who are in fine voice at the moment would have backed their team, but in all honesty, I have to put myself in this, not many others did. Purely based on the way that Monaro Panthers have started the league campaign this year. They've been impressive in things that they've done.
They've been scoring a swathe of goals, running roughshod over most of the competition. But here, they've met their match. And as the seconds tick away, Queanbeyan City edge towards a most remarkable victory. We have seen some late drama in recent weeks, though, haven't we, in Cup and League? Blazewski. Bit too early to be taking it to the corner.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I didn't think there was that little of the game left.
3.5 minutes. That would have been a long time to keep control of it by the corner flag.
It is when he's got Di Franceschi ratting away at him. It's a strong bloke there.
Abba tried to get a touch. Does get one ahead of Straub. Leverett finds Namoski. Got a good left foot. Straight at Illich. Tested the goalkeeper, though. Immediate release for Basasilk. Melik. Basasilk again. McLaren allowed to turn. Fernando, who's going to save the day for the Panthers, if anyone? Kachenko.
Brilliant defending again from Jack Leverett, just to hold Kachenko up.
McLaren. McCall. Fernando spins away. Can't find a way through, though. And Naul Guerrero can bring it from defence. Well done from the big centre-back, and Abba can release Blazewski. Not quite in his stride, otherwise he would have been away. Straub lifted it towards Kachenko. It was won by Leverett. Ray finds Abba, who's gone for something special. He did it in a friendly here against Canberra, Croatia, from that kind of range on this near side in his own half. Lobbed Sam Brown, who's no mug in goal. So he does have that in his locker.
Sadly for him then, he's more chance of hitting your car to the right of the goal.
Maybe that's what he was aiming for.
Here's a chance. He's run through the two of them.
Kachenko, only two in the box at the moment to hit. McCourt going the long way round over the head of Basasilk. And Haidu launches it towards Abba. That's a lovely ball as well.
And Di Franceschi's struggling here. He picked up something just a couple of minutes ago. He's done very, very well to defend that, though.
Haidu picks up the pieces. And it breaks for Abba. Di Franceschi's just cleaned out Johnny Haidu.
Naughty challenge.
And he's going to see at least a yellow for that. Wasn't a good challenge from Adam Di Franceschi at all. That was a challenge with more than a hint of frustration behind it.
Yeah, there was. I think we'd see more of that over at Canberra Raiders on the other side of town.
And whilst it'll hurt Johnny Haidu, he won't mind staying down for a little bit longer. Into the final minutes. We're going to get some time added on, of course, as we wait for the physio.
Strong boy, Adam Di Franceschi, isn't he? And he's really hit him there.
Johnny Haidu is still down. By the time he gets some treatment, we will be into stoppage time. 20 seconds left of it. In Worthington, can you see the Monaro Panthers getting back into this?
I can see him getting another chance, yeah. Because this is how games like this go, that there will be one more chance in the game. It's whether they can just get that equaliser. There's been risk taken, you know. Wouldn't know the reason why Maycor is taking Barrett off and Dominici off. He'll have his reason, of course he will, and they know much more what goes on at the clubs than you or I do stood up here. But it was the risk to put Seppi Tyne on. Well, that didn't pay off, sadly for Seppi. And they've been picked off at the other end by Queanbeyan City.
And do we feel, looking at that challenge, that maybe Adam Di Franceschi is a lucky boy to only see yellow?
Well, it's a rugby league hit. I don't think it's particularly good at all.
Johnny Haidu's okay. Well, why does he? He's sending him off the field, but he booked Di Franceschi, so he doesn't have to go. Or maybe he's just telling the physio to get off.
I'm not sure whether Haidu particularly knows where he is.
A minute of stoppage time played. Mishko Namoski over this free kick. Might as well have a crack, hadn't you?
Well, he's got a sweet left foot, hasn't he? We've seen that over the... Well, you've seen it over the years you've been here. I've been here a lot less, but he has got it in him.
He might go towards the far stick. He's lifted it in there towards Guerrero, who was up from the back. It's going to come out for Charlie Ray, who's lining one up. It's Ray! Well, that was well hit from Ray.
As well hit as it was, he would have been better putting it over the bar and being able to not get... Well, as it's gone out of play.
Maybe he was trying to, and he just hit it so well. Thinks I'll put this in the car park. And he almost put it in the top corner. Queanbeyan City edging ever closer. It might come for Haidu. We had Abba to his left if he could have reached the pass out here. Di Franceschi loops it away. McLaren Abba's in there with Melik. Deep Jones is with Nomoski. Haidu's come battling in for it. Deep Jones has come away with it. And is looking for Kachenko. 2 minutes of stoppage time gone. Leverett's header.
Good discipline for Monaro to get themselves out of that as well, not give a foul away. Very good from Dylan Deep Jones. Very good from Zach McLaren.
Kachenko
just keeps them in the game for maybe one last chance.
Picked off by Guerrero. McLaren's won it back. Bassa Silk's got a touch on it. Gabriel Ayul throws himself into it. And the flag's up for a free kick to Monaro Panthers.
He's done it for handball here. He's sort of...
Now Goran Jozefovski, the referee, assistant on this near side, wants a chat with Ricardo Alberto. Perhaps something's been said on the bench. Our official on the far side. Nothing comes of it.
That's a long way to come for a chat, isn't it?
Well, 3 minutes of stoppage time gone. This must be the last chance.
Well, we said they would get one more. This is the one.
Everyone in a Queanbeyan shirt behind the ball. Robert Kachenko over it for the Panthers.
He's also capable of hitting one direct here, Robert Kachenko.
And there's a nice little gap to the left of Nick Middleton, if he fancies it. Kachenko does fancy it. Comes off Nomoski, shouts for handball. They'll have to settle for a corner. Heath Illich remains at home at the moment.
It's come off Nomoski's left elbow, that, but I mean, if the rule is he's not out of control, it's actually come down the side of his body. His arms weren't out.
A nervous tension amongst the Queanbeyan faithful. Ben Bassa Silk with the corner kick into the near post. De Franceschi was up there. Fernando tried to spin on it. Bassa Silk again. Charged down by Charlie Ray. The clock ticks over into the 5th minute of time added on. Queanbeyan City edge closer. Panthers desperate. Throwing everyone up. McCaw into the middle. Fernando left it and it came off Kachenko and it was hooked away. Still might be on. Di Franceschi back for Illich. A glance at the watch from Ricardo Alberto, the official. Still we go. Leverett steps in and can find Abba. It's 2-on-1 here. Sam Abba. And he hasn't found the pace on the pass. Leverett's carried on though. It's Jack Leverett. Illich with the save.
It's a good hit and it's a great save from Illich.
Fernando, drama to the very end. Should be another free kick. Jack Leverett with a foul.
It's a smart foul from Jack Leverett. I'm surprised he's not got a yellow for that. He's clearly halted the in the game.
Ayul steps across and can bring it for Queanbeyan. 3-on-3.
He should be going in the corner here, shouldn't
He's
he?
found Blazewski, who's offside.
I don't think he was, but anyway.
McCaw's kicked it into Blazewski, who's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, but that happened before with Di Franceschi and then nothing happened, did it? Even though it wasn't a yellow card for Di Franceschi, I don't think that was either.
5 yellow cards for Queanbeyan City. McCaw can't keep it in. Head in hand time for Panthers and their supporters. 6 minutes of stoppage time played. Closing in on the 7th. Gabriel Ayul taking an eternity. And why wouldn't you? Ayul to throw it long. Deep Jones won the header. Miyabiashi for Queanbeyan City. And it's Derby Day delight for the men from High Street. A scarcely probable result that not many would have predicted. From 1-0 down, they've come from behind and they've stolen the points in the first Clearwaters derby for 10 years. Ian Worthington, remarkable second half.
A cracker of a second half, wasn't it? The game opened up. Great game plan from Queanbeyan City in the first half, just to be patient in midfield, very compact. Changes were made by Monaro for different reasons, I'm sure. They haven't paid off. and Queanbeyan City have picked them off on the break at the other end, and it's a master plan by the Queanbeyan City coaching staff, and congratulations to them.
The team from the bottom defeats the team that was joint top. The unbeaten Panthers record comes to a crashing halt over the road from their home ground. And Queanbeyan City will celebrate long into the night. Their fans are partying already. The Panthers, well, they'll need to regroup for next week. But today, it's all about the men in red. Ian Worthington, thank you very much for your company. Stephen Dominici gave the Panthers the lead, but Queanbeyan City hit back with goals from Nico Abbott and Jack Leverett's looped cross just past the hour. Giuseppe Tyne later sent off for the visitors, who try as they might could not get back into the contest. And it's Queanbeyan City who will go home happy. It's finished in the Clearwaters derby. Queanbeyan City 2, Monaro Panthers 1.